Hi, I'm Beverly, your friend and your infinite happiness and abundance coach. I'm going to start with a question. Do your financial choices reflect what you value most? Think about that. Do your financial choices reflect what you value most? And if not, why? And what can you do about it? Well, that's what I'm going to talk about today. Because, so many of us think they do, but when we really look at it, they don't. Because we're also oftentimes living on autopilot and we're just doing things. I know I used to stop by Walgreens on the way home from work every day because I was trying to cut back on Cokes and I'd buy two, 16 ounces. I was spending a ton more money than I would have spent if I had just bought a carton of Cokes. And I wasn't cutting back. So what was I doing? I was living on autopilot. It became habit for me to stop there. Even when I started to, when I decided no longer to stop there, guess what I did the first day I decided that? I stopped there. So it takes effort to change a habit. And so much of what we do is habit and autopilot. We don't even think about it. So I want you to think about it today because every financial decision that you make is influenced by your beliefs and your priorities. Buying those sodas every day, it was my belief that if I only ever had two, I would cut back. It was a priority for me to have that caffeine because I don't drink coffee, so it was a priority for me to have that caffeine. Every financial decision. When I purchased that rental property with my ex, my priority was to make him happy, was to help him out because he wasn't working and he wanted to fix things up and do things. And I was trying to make the relationship, I was trying to be good and keep the relationship alive and make the relationship work. And it just took it down instead. But that was my priority. That was my thought process. You know, and if you happen to value security, you might save obsessively. My brother's like that. While somebody else who values freedom, they may struggle with budgeting because it feels restrictive. That's me. I value my freedom so much that I could never do a budget. I don't like budgets. I still don't like budgets because it always has felt restrictive. My brother, on the other hand, values security and he saves obsessively, almost to the point of hoarding. So, where does the conflict come from? You might wonder, well, if I value that, then why am I not making financial decisions to reflect that? That might be what you're thinking. Well, think about this. Most of us value wealth, right? We say we want to be wealthy, but as the money comes closer and closer and closer, we go, whoa, wait a second, wait a second, wait a second. We start to feel guilty. We start to feel shame that we're going to have more money than somebody else. We start to avoid. We start to feel fearful that if we have money, something might happen to it. All these different kinds of things. We we do the same thing with our values. Maybe you value adventure, but you're constantly saying, I can't afford to travel. So there's a disconnect and your brain gets a little discombobulated. So it affects your money mindset. It affects how you save for travel. Basically, if you're always saying you can't afford to travel, you don't save for travel. You're spending it on something else. I know one year I thought this is going to be a year of travel for me. But I also kept saying I can't afford to go overseas. I can't afford to go here and there. I traveled a ton in the state of Florida. A ton. It was a year where I was going from place to place teaching some things, some computer programming type, not programming, but a computer program. And so I was driving across the state all the time. And toward about halfway through the year, I was like, well, I did say this was going to be a year of travel. I just wasn't specific enough because I kept saying I can't afford to do these other things that I really wanted to do. I was traveling, just not the way I wanted to. These weren't adventures. They were kind of boring, actually. So, and what it was is I valued adventure, but I didn't say it that way. I didn't word it that way. Instead, like I said, I kept saying I can't afford to travel. So let's look at your wealth values real quick. Let me ask you a couple of questions here. You can write the answers in the comments. I would love that. Or you can just write them on a piece of paper so that you can have them. What does money allow you to experience that matters the most to you? What does money allow you to experience that matters the most to you? I would venture to guess it's not something like stopping at Walgreens for a Coke on the way home from work or stopping at Starbucks for coffee every morning. I would venture to guess those are not what matters the most. Is it nurturing your children? Is it traveling? Is it experiencing adventure and joy? Is it creating security for yourself? Is it having the freedom to leave, to travel whenever you wish? Is it being able to donate, to give? Is it being able to take care of others? What is it? Question number 2. When you think about your dream life, what role does money play in it? When you think about your dream life, what role does money play in it? Is it just sitting in the bank? Or are you using it to donate, to help others, to travel, to create something? When you really think about your dream life, what role does money play? Maybe it paid for the house that you're living in your dream life. Maybe it paid for your clothes or your dinners out. What role does it really play? Is it sitting in the bank, being left there to possibly be left to future generations that may or may not exist, that may or may not need the money? I know there are people who keep their money in the bank to give to their children, and then their children turn out to be making 2 and 3 times more money than they ever made. So why worry about it? Third question. What words describe the kind of wealth that you desire? What words describe the kind of wealth you desire? Security, freedom, generosity, donating, adventure, making an impact. Seeing the beauty. Helping others. What else? What words describe the kind of wealth that you desire? Now, once you know these values, you can start making money decisions that feel good instead of just on autopilot. Also, instead of being forced. I remember I used to hear when I was younger and in church, I used to hear pastors say, don't give until it hurts. Well, I don't think that's right. I don't think you should give until it hurts. I think you should Money should be used to make you feel good, whether that's donating until you feel good, saving until you feel good and comfortable, spending, not retail therapy. There's a difference here. But it's making those money decisions that make you feel good about what you're spending money on instead of just spending it and not even remembering what you bought or coming home and putting things in the closet and never wearing them. We've all been there, right? I invite you to reflect on how you can align your spending, your earning, and your saving with your deepest values. So now that you've got your values and you're looking at how you can make choices that align with those, that's the question. Here's the question. I'm going to say it again. How can I align my spending, earning, and saving with my deepest value? How can I align my spending, earning, and saving with my deepest value? That's the question. Have a great day. Bye bye.